First one we're going to call the two-card Monte. Two-card Monte. And it uses a pair of cards. In this case, I've got a red 10 and a black jack. So a black jack is easy to differentiate from the red 10. And I take those and I can put them behind my back and mix them up and bring them out and say, okay, I've got the one, which one do you think this one is? And if they say, let's say that they say it's the red 10, and I'll bring it out and say, no, actually I've got the red 10 here, that was the black jack. And we can do it again. I'll put them behind my back and I'll put it out and say, what do you think this one is? And they say, maybe it's the black jack. And I say, and actually this was the black jack here, this was the red 10 that I brought out. And I can make them be correct or incorrect with their guessing. I'm in complete control at all times. How does two-card Monte work? In this case, I've got one card that has the jack and the 10. It's two sides, two-faced. On one side it's the jack of spades, the other side it's the 10 of hearts. And this card just has a back on both sides. So when I put them together, on one side it shows the jack of spades and a face-down card. And if I push that over and flip up, then I show a face-down card and the 10 of hearts. And that doesn't look exactly the way, it's a little what we call discrepant. There's a little discrepancy in the way that looks, but it will go by. And so you can either show it that way, or you can show that you've just show it up like this. Say I've got the 10 or a black jack. So you can do it out here at chest level. Then you take these two cards, you can put them behind your back or into a paper bag. Just take them out of sight and pull out the double-backed card. Hold it face down, and you just keep your thumb. You know which side of the face card, the double-face card, you've got your thumb on. So I know my thumb is on the 10. So if they guess the 10, then if I want them to be wrong, I come out and show the 10. I say, no, the 10 was behind my back. If I want them to be right and they say the 10, then behind my back, I just flip it over and bring it out and show the other side. And so that means this must be the 10. And then again, I can flick that one and show that it's the jack. And then if I do this, I can flick this one and show that that's the 10. And that's a pretty good trick called two-card Monte. And you will be given the double facer and double backer to perform the trick. We're back with another bit of card magic, and in this case, we've only got three. 1, 2, 3 cards, and we'll just make a fan so you can see exactly the cards that I'm playing with. I've got 2 8s and a 4. 2 8s and a 4. The 4 is the different card, it's the one in the middle. And I can very slowly put that down and ask someone to put their hand or their finger on that 4 and slide out that middle card. And I can show them the cards that are left are those 2 8s. But strangely, if I snap my fingers and take a look at the card that they slid out, it is now, in this case, a blank card. It's a completely different card. So what's going on with this? This is called 3-card Monte. I'm going to come close to the camera so you can see exactly what's going on. I really do have these 3 cards. One of them is just a red 8. One of them is a blank card, and one of them is this card, which is normal on the back, but on the front, it's got a piece of another card cut like a flap and attached with a piece of Scotch tape right there to make a little hinge. And that flap is where I'm going to slide the blank card. This blank card could have stickers on it, it could be decorated, it could have someone's name on it, anything you want. And that just gets placed right under that flap. Then the next card gets placed right on top of it to make it look like a fan of 3 cards, 2 red cards and 1 black card. And you ask the person, can you keep your eye on the card that's different? The one in the middle. They say, of course they can. Well, then you ask them to slide that out, slide the one in the middle, just hold it face down in their hand. When they do that, you just use your thumb and move that top card so that the edge goes back to the face of that little angel in the corner. And And that way you'll be safe when you show the front of the cards again. See? So you slide that over. You can say, well, here's the 2 8s. Put those in your pocket. Then do some magic over the card they're holding, and it will have transformed into a completely different card. So this is called 3-card Monte. It's a very easy, self-working kind of a trick, and it just involves a little bit of arts and crafts to get that done, and then you can make this however you want. 3-card Monte.
All right, we're gonna do something really fun here. It's something I really enjoy. I've got 5 different cards. I've got a 4 of spades, 6 of diamonds, a 9 of spades, a jack of clubs, and a 10 of hearts. You can use any 5 cards. If you do it the way I'm about to show you, you can do it with any 5 cards that you don't ever want to use again, because you're gonna tear the cards in half. The other way to do this is with 2 4s, 2 6s, 2 9s, 2 jacks, and 2 10s, and that way you don't have to tear the cards. But I kind of like the drama of tearing cards, and so you take 5 cards that are very different in color and in suit, and you want to make sure that the values are different. You don't want 4 4s, because then it won't seem nearly as amazing what's about to happen. So you take those 5 cards, you fold them in half, and then you tear all 5 of them in half. You lay them on the table, one side face up, one side face down. And then to make sure that you haven't done anything funny, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And you can show that the top cards don't match. As a matter of fact, neither do the second cards. Put them back in the same place that they were. And now you're going to ask a question. Will the cards match? And your goal is to have the last 2 halves match. And here's how you do it. Every time you spell a word, will the cards match? Someone in the audience can tell you to change piles as often as they want. And the way you're going to spell it is you're going to take one off the top and put it on the bottom for each letter. So if I'll get Joe to help me out. And so, Joe, I'm going to spell these, and you can tell me to stop anytime, and I'll switch stacks and keep spelling. Okay. So we'll go W, I,
Switch.
L,
Switch.
L.
Okay.
All right, and then we take the top 2 cards and place them right there. We'll do the same thing for the word the. Now, which do you want me to start with?
Start with the 9.
Start with this one. Okay. All right, so T, H,
Switch.
E.
Okay.
And we'll place those 2 cards right there. Which stack do you want me to start with?
10.
Over here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're going to spell the word cards.
Okay.
C, A, R,
Switch.
D, S.
Okay.
And place those 2 cards right there. And remember, the goal is for these last 2 to match. And so...
Start with the downwards.
Face downwards? Mm-hmm. All right, so match is what we're going to do. M,
Switch.
A,
Switch.
T,
Switch.
C, H.
Okay.
All right, those go right there. Now, you would think there would be a 1 in 5 chance that you would get this right, but actually we're working with factorials. Factorial is a number with an exclamation point after it. And when I was in the 7th grade and learned about factorials, I thought that when you saw a 5 with an exclamation point out beside it, you just say 5! That's not what it is. It's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That number times the next lowest whole number times, and it keeps going. So there are 120 possible combinations here, and your goal was to get those 2 to match, and they did. That's out of focus. Okay. All right, and they did match. Here's the really cool part. The 10 also matched. The jack also matched. The 6 also matched, and of course that means that the 4 also matched. A 1 in 120 chance, you would think, with all the possible combinations that there are. Here's how it works. You take the cards. I'm going to put these in a stack as though I were tearing them in half. You can get the volunteer to mix them up before you start, although once you tear them in half, they can't mix them. But they can mix them in any order. You tear the cards in half, and you put one side face down and one side face up. Now, it will work doing it this way, but what's really fun is that if you pick these cards up just to prove you still have 5, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've reversed the order of this stack. You pick this stack up and do the same thing, and you reverse the order of this stack, which now means that if you turned this one over, those would match, the next ones would match that way. But because now they're opposites, if you spell out the question, will the cards match, and do exactly what we said, and they can stop you anytime or not stop you at all. You can spell the whole word will out of one stack, W-I-L-L, and then do the others and just keep going. As often as they want, as seldom as they want. When you finish, you're going to end up with 5 cards that match. I know it's hard to believe. Try it and see it. And once you see it happen 3 or 4 times, you'll be really confident. You'll have a lot of fun, even with face down cards. And you don't really know until you reveal it at the end that everything matches, but everything will.
All right, this is another little betcha stunt, a betcha that you can do. And this may be especially effective after you have done the walking through a hole in a piece of paper trick that you learned earlier. You remember that trick? You folded a piece of paper and cut a special hole so you could walk all the way through the piece of paper. And they probably think now, your audience now thinks that you can probably do anything with a piece of paper. So now you can show them a piece of paper in which you've just cut a regular hole. I cut this by folding it in half and then half again and just cutting around the corner. So when I open it up, I have a nice uniform hole right in the middle. And I say, I'll bet you a glass of lemonade that, or you don't have to actually bet, but I bet you $1, I bet you a quarter, I bet you a handshake, whatever. I bet you that I can poke my head through this hole in this piece of paper. I bet you I can poke my head through this hole. Now, if they just saw you walk through a hole in a card or a piece of paper, they might think you have some special way of doing it. So here's what you do. You just hold it up to your head, and you put your finger through the hole and poke your head. So now I'm poking my head through the hole in this piece of paper. Not a particularly mystifying trick, but it's a good groaner of a joke. All right, here we have another fun math trick. This is one that I wasn't even aware of until recently. It's another kind of a prediction trick. So I've made a prediction here and I'm going to put it in my pocket, or you can put it up on the wall where nobody can see it until later. You can ask your audience to name a 3-digit number. We're going to make all the digits the same. So 111, 222, 333, whatever they want, they can name any of those triple-digit numbers. So let's say that they went with 888. 888. So 888. So you take those numbers and add them up. So 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 8 is 24. And you're going to divide 24 into that number. So 24 into 888. Well, how many times does 24 go into 88? Well, it can only go 3. So 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's 72. 88 minus 72, 8 minus 2 is 6, 8 minus 7 is 1. So 24 doesn't go into 16 anymore. So you have to pull that 8 down. So we're doing long division. 24, well, we know it's less than 10, right? Because 10 times 24 would be 240. And we know it's more than half of that, because half of that would be 120, and this is more than half. So let's look and see 7. 7 times 4, 4 times 7 is 28. Put 2 up there. 2 times 7 is 14, plus the other 2 is 15, 16. So yes, that comes out exactly to 0. So we're done. So we know that 24 goes into that number 37 times. So that's the answer was 37. And if you look at your prediction, it was 37. So you predicted whatever number they chose, you got the correct answer. So let's try that again. Same prediction. Let's see what's going on here. They can come up with any 3-digit number where all 3 digits are the same. So this time let's try 555. Like on TV, the phone numbers are always 555. So 555. We're going to divide it by the sum of those 3 digits. So 5 times 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 more is 15. So 15 divided into 555. Well, 15 goes into 55. Well, it won't go 4 times, but we know it'll go 3. That's kind of looking good, doesn't it? 3 times 15 is 45. So that gets us 10, and then 5 comes down. 15 goes into 105. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's again exactly 37 is the correct answer. So that will work with any 3-digit number. If you just get the 3 triple digits, so it has to be 3 the same. 111, 222, 777, 999, whatever it is. You add those digits together and you divide that into the triple digit number. So you divide the sum into the total number and it will always come out to 37. So that is the 37 prediction. All right, here is another fun little math or gaming kind of a prediction that you can make. And so here's my prediction that I've made in advance, and I'll just put it right there so it's in view. You know where it is. I couldn't find any small dice, and they're hard to see on video. So these are big foam dice, and they're numbered with actual numbers instead of dots. But this works exactly the same with little dice that you might have in your board games at home. So what you've done is you tell people, well, I'm going to give you 2 dice, and I've made a prediction about the outcome of your roll. And you can roll the dice, and I want you to roll the dice, and whatever they add up to, in this case, they've added up to, on top we've got 2 and 2. So that's 4. And I want you to also add whatever's showing on the bottom. So in this case on the bottoms, we've got 5 and 5. So 2 and 2 and 5 and 5 adds up to 14. If we take a look at my prediction, it is 14. So how does this work? Let's try it again. Here's my prediction. Let's roll this again. We've got a 3 and a 5. So there's 3 and 5 on top. And on the bottom, we've got 4 and 2. So 3 and 5 and 4 and 2. 3 and 5 is 8. 4 and 2 is 6. 8 and 6, what do you know? It adds up to 14 again. And the reason this works is, some people know this, but not a lot of people know, that on honest dice, any die that is spotted honestly, opposite sides will add up to 7. So the 1 will always be on the other side from the 6. And the 4 will be on the other side from the 3. And the 2 will be on the other side from the 5. So the opposite sides will always add up to 7. So if you have 2 dice, no matter what they roll, the total of opposite sides will add up to 14. So you could do this with 1 die, predict 7, 2 dice, predict 14, 3 dice, you would predict 21. So that is your dice prediction.